Chapter 72 3 against 1, that's not considered bullying, right? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Dai Mubai heard that Zhao Wuji was going to test Xin Ya himself. He hesitated and said, Teacher Zhao, this is not good. Zhao Wuji glared at him, what's wrong with that? The dean is not here. As the vice dean, I will decide everything. What's more, as you said, the girl's soul power level is 42nd level, and she has 3 10,000-year soul rings, while you are only 37th level. You, the tester, have a lower soul power level than the tested person, so what's the point of testing? So in this case, it must be the most appropriate for me to come in person. After listening to this, several people felt that what Zhao Wuji said made some sense, mainly because Xin Ya's soul power level was indeed higher than Dai Mubai's, and the two of them had already fought in the hotel, and Dai Mubai lost at that time, so it was meaningless for him to be responsible for testing Xin Ya. At this time, Ning Rongrong said, Teacher Zhao, you are right, but your soul power level is 72nd level, and our Xiaoya is 42nd level, you are 30 levels higher. Even if Xiaoya has 3 10,000-year soul rings, she can only challenge 20 levels at most. This 30-level gap is really a bit of bullying the weak. Miss Ning's words made Xin Ya very satisfied. She deserves to be her mouthpiece. Zhao Wuji thought that if he fought with the little girl alone, it would be a bit of bullying the weak. It would not be a good reputation if it spread out. After thinking for a while, he looked at Xin Ya and said, How about this, girl, you choose 2 from the other 4 people who signed up for the test with you to fight with me. 3 against 1, this is not considered bullying the weak. As for the remaining 2, Mu Bai will fight and test. Do you 5 agree? Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing were the first to express no objection, but Tang San and Xiao Wu were a little reluctant. But this was proposed by the test teacher of the 4th level, and they couldn't refute anything. Xin Ya naturally knew the reason why the 2 of them were unwilling, because the other 2 could obviously fight against Dai Mubai, and their chances of winning would be greater, but if they were chosen by her, their chances of winning would be reduced. In other words, the person she chose was actually implicated by her. Xin Ya looked at the other 4 people, Tang San and Xiao Wu. She couldn't choose them, because they were not on the same side. But if she chose Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing, not to mention that Zhu Zhuqing had just met and was not that familiar, but Ning Rongrong had known her for a while, and she couldn't drag Rongrong down. Xin Ya thought about it, she herself was not a person who liked to drag others down. Sighing, she was about to say forget it, I'll challenge it myself, but Ning Rongrong saw her thoughts and immediately stepped forward and said, I'll take the initiative to apply for a battle test with Xiaoya. After she finished speaking, she smiled and turned to look at Xin Ya. Xiaoya, although I am a support system, the amplification effect of my 7 treasures glazed tower should also be able to help you. Miss Ning's voice just fell, and the others looked at her in surprise. The 7 treasures glazed tower martial spirit is passed down from generation to generation, only the direct descendants of the 7 treasures glazed sect in the entire Douluo Continent can have it, Zhao Wuji said in surprise. Are you from the 7 treasures glazed sect? Ning Rongrong nodded. Tang San looked at Ning Rongrong. He remembered that his teacher Yu Shaojiang told him that the 7 treasures glazed tower is the strongest support system martial spirit on the continent, and it is also the best partner of the combat system spirit master. Among the 6 symbols on the highest level token of the spirit hall, one of them is the 7 treasures glazed tower, which shows how great the reputation of this sect is in the spirit world. Tang San whispered to Xiao Wu beside him, Xiao Wu, don't argue with Ning Rongrong in the future. Xiao Wu asked puzzledly, why? Because she is from the 7 treasures glazed tile sect. Tang San did not answer whether she was or not. Xiao Wu saw that he did not speak again, so she did not ask again. Ning Rongrong saw that the others were looking at her, and she said a little embarrassedly, don't look at me, I am no different from ordinary people. I ran away from home and followed Xiaoya. Followed Xin Ya. Dai Mubai looked at Xin Ya in confusion. Are you also from the 7 treasures glazed tile sect? Xin Ya shook her head and joked, I am not, I just went there as a guest and kidnapped their eldest daughter by the way. After she finished speaking, she and Ning Rongrong smiled at each other. At this time, Zhao Wuji was extremely excited. Because this year's enrollment not only came a soul sect genius who had 3 10,000-year soul rings at the age of 12, but also came from the 7 treasures glazed tile sect. He thought, if the old ghost Flanders knew about this, he would be so excited. Zhao Wuji couldn't wait to play with Xin Ya and the other little monsters. He looked at Xin Ya and urged, "Girl, you still need a candidate, hurry up and choose. After the selection, I will give you 3 time to discuss, and then start the battle test." Xin Ya nodded. She looked at Ning Rongrong and asked, "Are you sure you want to go with me?" Ning Rongrong looked at her and nodded firmly. "In the future, we can quarrel casually in private, but we will definitely be united in public. I will always support you." Xin Ya's nose was sour instantly. She remembered that she also had a very good girlfriend in her previous life, but her girlfriend died in a car accident when she was in college. The day she knew her girlfriend passed away, she cried like rain. That was her only best friend since childhood. After graduation, in order to make herself forget the sadness, she used overtime work to numb herself, but she didn't expect to cause herself to die suddenly. Now that she is reborn in Douluo Continent, she really hopes that her best friend can also receive the gift of Shulangsing after her death, and be reborn in a certain plane and live happily. The little girl sniffed and said to Ning Rongrong, "Thank you." Zhu Zhuqing, who was standing next to the two of them, kept looking at them. She suddenly envied such friendship. Zhu Zhuqing remembered that because of her cold personality, she had no friends except the 5th sister who was the best to her at home. Not only that, her eldest sister wanted her to die in order to fight for power. Later, she ran away from home like Ning Rongrong, but was hunted down by her own sister all the way. Finally, after 9 deaths, she came to Tiando Empire. Zhu Zhuqing thought that if she found Dai Mubai, she would have hope. Unexpectedly, she saw that bastard here flirting with other women and going to the hotel to get a room with other women. If she hadn't seen Xin Ya and the others that day, Zhu Zhuqing really wanted to strangle Dai Mubai to death. Later, she knew that Dai Mubai was in Shrek Academy, so she came here. Unexpectedly, she met the amazing girl she met in the hotel that day. Suddenly, she also wanted to be as amazing as that little girl, so she began to unconsciously move closer to Xin Ya. Just when Zhu Zhuqing was thinking about something, Xin Ya looked at her and asked, "Are you willing to fight with me for the test?" Xin Ya thought, if Zhu Zhuqing didn't want to, then she would choose Tang San, who made him owe me money. If Tang San refuses, I will threaten him with the IOU. Just as Xin Ya finished speaking, Zhu Zhuqing said a word without hesitation. "Okay." Chapter 73. With the healing light, she can definitely face it head-on. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Xin Ya, Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing smiled at each other. Dai Mubai heard that Zhu Zhuqing chose to fight with Xin Ya. He immediately said to Zhu Zhuqing nervously, "Think it over, Teacher Zhao is a level 72, soul saint." As he said that, he walked a few steps closer to the cold girl, leaned over and whispered, "Don't choose to fight with Xin Ya, and then fight with me. I will let you pass easily." Zhu Zhuqing didn't appreciate his kindness at all, stretched out her hand to push him away, and said coldly, "I don't need it." She turned her head away, facing Dai Mubai, and looked like she didn't want to talk to him anymore. Dai Mubai was helpless, but there were so many people now, so he couldn't pester him anymore. At this time, Zhao Wuji asked, "Have you chosen?" "Just the 3 of you girls, right?" Xin Ya nodded and said, "Yes, the 3 of us." "Okay." Zhao Wuji said, "Give you 3 1 stick of incense to get to know each other and discuss. After 1 stick of incense, the test will begin. The content of the test is that the 3 of you will join forces to resist my attack. The time limit is 1 stick of incense, and the range is within this 200 meters of open space. If you leave this range, it will be considered a failure, so don't try to use shortcuts to delay time by escaping. As long as one of you 3 can hold on to the end, you will pass." After he finished speaking, he looked at Dai Mubai. "Xiaobai, tell the 3 girls about my strength characteristics." After saying this, Zhao Wuji took out a stick of incense from somewhere. He pinched the tip of the incense with his fingers and actually lit it directly. In the blink of an eye, the incense had been firmly inserted into the ground without any trembling. The others praised him again and again, saying that he was indeed a soul saint of level 72, amazing. After Zhao Wuji finished all this, he sat back in his chair, closed his eyes and continued to sleep. Dai Mubai looked at Tang San and Xiao Wu and said, "You two wait on the side first. After I finish talking to the three of them, I will go to the other side with you to test." Tang San thought for a while and said, "Brother Dai, can we watch their test first before we go to test?" Dai Mubai nodded and said, "Sure, you can just treat it as learning. After all, Teacher Zhao is not someone who will take action easily." After that, he walked towards Xin Ya and the other two, but found that the three of them had already started discussing, but it was mainly Xin Ya who was talking, and Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing were listening. Dai Mubai thought, he hasn't talked about Teacher Zhao's strength and characteristics yet, what can they discuss? Out of curiosity, he walked over to listen, hearing Xin Ya say, "From what I know, the beast spirit of the mighty King Kong bear is both offensive and defensive, especially with strong defense. It can be said that there is no flaw in the whole body, and Zhao Wuji has a nickname, Akala." "Akala," Ning Rongrong exclaimed, "he is actually Akala. My father said that Akala has been missing for 10 years. I didn't expect that he would be a teacher in this remote academy. 10 years ago, Akala had a feud with the Spirit Hall. The Spirit Hall wanted to punish him, but he managed to escape from the siege of 16 bishops, and then the matter was left unresolved. At that time, the bishops sent by the Spirit Hall were basically soul emperors above level 60. Zhao Wuji was so powerful at level 60, so he must be even more powerful now at level 72. Indeed, he is even more powerful. But we are not trying to defeat him, but to survive his attack for an incense stick of time. Moreover, he is not good at speed because he is both an attacker and a defender." As she said, she looked at Zhu Zhuqing. "Zhuqing, I saw you release your spirit just now in the first level. Your spirit is the nether spirit cat, which is agile attack, right?" Zhu Zhuqing nodded. Xin Ya continued, "The agility attack system still has certain advantages over soul masters who are not good at speed. Although the difference in soul power levels is large, it is almost impossible for you to really attack him. But your speed is fast enough, it is not easy for him to catch you. Not to mention I am here." Ning Rongrong said, "Xiaoya, I remember you told me before that your 3 10,000-year soul rings can allow you to challenge the 20 level, but Teacher Zhao is 72, even with Zhu Qing, it is still not close to the 70 level." Xin Ya smiled and said, "Don't you still have you? You not only enhance me, but also enhance Zhu Qing. Don't you believe in the enhancement effect of your 7 treasures glazed tower?" Ning Rongrong immediately said confidently, "Of course I believe in the enhancement effect of our 7 treasures glazed tower." Xin Ya said, "In fact, if I have your enhancement, it is possible for me to challenge the 30 level, not to mention that we just have to last for an incense stick of time." The little girl thought, there is one thing she didn't say, that this lady still has 200,000-year soul bones on her body, plus a killing god domain. Moreover, the soul bone skill healing light made her fearless. As long as she was not hurt, she could fight head-on. In addition to healing light and flying, she did not intend to use the other 2 100,000-year soul bone skills unless she had no choice. After all, soul bones were rare, and 100,000-year soul bones were even more precious. Now she was not sure whether the traverser carrying the system was Tang San, and whether he was an enemy or a friend. Xin Ya thought that in this situation, she must not expose the 2 100,000-year soul bones on her body. If the traverser carrying the system was an enemy, it would be troublesome. When she was thinking about something, Dai Mubai, who had been standing behind her, suddenly spoke and said to Xin Ya, "I didn't expect that you know a lot about Teacher Zhao. Now that the analysis is over, what are you going to do?" Xin Ya came back to her senses and ignored Dai Mubai. She continued to say to Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing, "Rongrong, you fully assist me in Zhu Qing. When Zhu Qing is in the battle test later, you try to attack from behind, and your attacks must find every opportunity. Also, Teacher Zhao's defense is very strong, so don't attack when he is defending. To put it bluntly, don't confront him head-on. Leave the task of confronting Teacher Zhao head-on to me." Zhu Zhuqing nodded while listening, but when she heard that Xin Ya was about to confront Teacher Zhao, she reacted and was surprised. You want to attract his attention? Isn't this a little bad? What if Teacher Zhao fails to control it and you get injured? Xin Ya said, even if I don't attract his attention, he will stare at me. In that case, I might as well take the initiative myself. At least I can still take the lead, so as not to be passive. Zhu Zhuqing and Ning Rongrong looked at each other and thought it made sense, so they agreed with her statement. Xin Ya said, okay, let's just lay it out like this for the time being. No matter how much we talk about it, it's just talk on paper. Practice is the truth. Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing nodded. At this time, Zhao Wuji's loud voice came, you three little girls, have you discussed it? The four of them turned around to look at the same time. The incense stick that had been inserted into the ground had just burned out. Xin Ya said to Zhao Wuji, teacher, we have discussed it and we can start. Dai Mubai quickly walked to Tang San and Xiao Wu to watch the battle together. It's rare to see Feudal Ming King Zhao Wuji take action, so he naturally won't let go of this opportunity to learn. At this time, Guangling, who had been standing above the wooden house not far from the clearing, was watching the situation on the other side of the clearing. Those ice-blue eyes stared at Zhao Wuji with great displeasure. He thought, if Zhao Wuji hurt that little thing, I would capture the bear and take it back to make bear paw wine. Chapter 74. Oh no, he starts off as a support. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In an open space within a range of 200 meters, when Zhao Wuji heard Xin Ya say that it was time to start, he stood up again and twisted his neck and shoulders. The piercing sound of bones popping rang out from his body in a series. Just listening to that sound, people have already added a bit of pressure invisibly. Zhao Wuji and Xin Ya fought against each other, and suddenly another stick of incense appeared in his hand. Just when he lit the incense and inserted it into the ground, Ning Rongrong took the lead. The 7 treasures turn out to have colored glaze. Miss Ning's body floated around in place, and the dazzling 7-color light was instantly released from her body. After a moment, 7-color light condensed in the palm of her right hand, and then a 7-color pagoda more than a foot high appeared in her palm. The light of the pagoda was noble, and at the same time 2 yellow soul rings rose from under her feet. Oscar was walking towards this side not far away. It was a coincidence that I saw the beautiful girl smiling under the cover of the treasure, looking like a fairy. His eyes were wide open instantly, and he quickly ran to Dai Mubai and whispered, Boss Dai, what's the name of the girl holding the pagoda? Ning Rongrong, from the 7 treasures glazed sect. Dai Mubai glanced at him, are you interested? Oscar nodded with bright eyes, and suddenly he found that there were 3 girls fighting Zhao Wuji in the open space. He wondered, why are there 3 girls fighting Teacher Zhao? Shouldn't they be fighting you? Dai Mubai crossed his arms and raised his chin towards Xin Ya. Because the little girl named Xin Ya has a higher soul power level than me, I can't test her. Oscar was surprised. Her level is actually higher than yours. You are level 37, she can't be level 40. 42. Dai Mubai said, in addition to the soul power level, there are other things, you will see it yourself later. 42. Oscar opened his eyes wide, his curiosity was instantly aroused, and he immediately looked at the 4 people preparing to fight in the open space. After Ning Rongrong, Xin Ya, and Zhu Zhuqing also opened their martial spirits at the same time. An extremely ordinary long sword appeared in front of Xin Ya. Anyone who saw her long sword would not believe that such a sword was matched by a person with 3 10,000-year spirit rings, but the 3 dazzling black lights slowly rose from her feet, which stunned the 7 people present. Although some of them had seen it before, they still found it incredible, especially Oscar and Zhao Wuji who saw it for the first time. At this time, Oscar's mouth was open enough to swallow an egg. But Tang San next to him clenched his hands tightly, and a feeling of unwillingness began to sprout in his heart. Xin Ya reached out and grasped the hilt of the long sword floating in front of her. At that moment, her black hair turned silver white, her eyes suddenly changed from harmless to sharp, and her aura changed. The change of the little girl made the knowledgeable Zhao Wuji stunned for a moment. Because it is generally the beast martial spirit that changes the appearance and aura of the soul master, it is impossible for a weapon spirit to undergo these changes, unless it is a mutated weapon spirit. Zhao Wuji thought, could it be that Xin Ya's spirit is a mutated weapon spirit? If this is true, it would explain why her cultivation speed is so fast, but even a mutated weapon spirit cannot absorb 3 10,000-year spirit rings beyond the level. He decided to wait for Flanders to come back and tell him about this matter. At this time, everyone heard Ning Rongrong shouting, "The 7 treasures are famous, one is strength, the other is speed." Just as Miss Ning performed her spirit skills, Zhao Wuji on the opposite side took action. He suddenly squatted with his legs and smashed his fists at the ground at the same time. Xin Ya reacted immediately, her eyes flashed, and she whispered, "Not good, he will start with an assist." As soon as she finished speaking, she quickly blocked in front of Ning Rongrong and instantly opened the Killing God domain. The cold killing aura leaked out and spread throughout the open space. Even other people who were not within the Killing God domain felt the biting cold. The few people watching the battle shivered. Dai Mubai said excitedly, "It's this move. That day in the hotel lobby, she used this move to suppress me." Xiao Wu asked, "Why do I feel trembling? What exactly is her soul skill?" Oscar hugged his body tightly and said with a slightly trembling voice, "This soul skill is so powerful." Tang San's heart trembled involuntarily, and he was also very curious about what exactly Xin Ya's soul skill was. He felt a strange breath, and that breath made people shudder. With a bang, Zhao Wuji's attack collided with Xin Ya's Killing God domain, and the earth shook violently. After the dust settled, the attack was successfully blocked by the Killing God domain. At the same time, the 2 colorful lights of the 7 treasures glazed tower were released at the same time, covering Xin Ya and Zhu Zhuqing. Instantly, the two felt 2 warm energies pouring into their limbs. They suddenly felt that their whole body was full of strength, and at the same time their bodies became lighter, as if they had lost weight. Both Xin Ya and Zhu Zhuqing felt the amplification effect from the 7 treasures glazed tower for the first time. They felt that their speed and strength increased by 30%. At this time, Zhao Wuji looked at Xin Ya in disbelief, with a bright light in his eyes. What Xin Ya did just now was a domain. He suddenly burst into laughter. Great! This recruitment is really great. The rest of the people present didn't know that what Xin Ya had just displayed was actually a domain, not a soul skill. After all, domains have a similar meaning to soul bones in the soul master world, and not all soul masters can have domains. When Dai Mubai and the others saw that the soul skills displayed by Xin Ya could actually block Zhao Wuji's attack, their eyes widened. At this time, Xin Ya looked at Zhu Zhuqing, and their eyes met, and they understood instantly. Zhu Zhuqing was possessed by the nether spirit cat martial spirit, and rushed towards Zhao Wuji quickly, but she did not attack from the front, but from the side. She quickly flashed out, and her speed was fully demonstrated under the amplification of the 7 treasures glazed tower. She is worthy of being a spirit master of the agility attack system. Zhu Zhuqing's speed was so fast that everyone present was amazed. She jumped out quietly like an assassin, came behind Zhao Wuji without any sound, and quietly displayed her second soul skill, the Nether 100 Claws. At this moment, Zhao Wuji suddenly possessed his spirit, and his body suddenly became as hard as steel. Although Zhu Zhuqing's cat claws swung with all her strength, they only scratched Zhao Wuji's clothes and could not shake his body at all. Suddenly, Zhao Wuji laughed loudly. Third spirit skill, gravity enhancement. Zhu Zhuqing's body suddenly became heavy, and she felt an invisible pressure pressing down from above her head. Her feet seemed to be stuck in the mud, and she could not move at all. Seeing Zhu Zhuqing being suppressed, Xin Ya swung the long sword and stabbed it straight into the ground. Second spirit skill, wind rising sword intent. In an instant, waves of sword energy ripples like tornadoes immediately swelled around the sword body of the long sword. The sharp sword energy kept spinning, and finally formed a strong hurricane to attack Zhao Wuji. Zhao Wuji felt the hurricane formed by countless strong sword energy coming towards him, and he immediately used the first spirit skill, the body of the Akala. The body instantly burst out with strong golden light, blocking and rebounding the hurricane of sword energy attacking it. Chapter 75, The young generation is formidable, as they were able to force out my martial spirit. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Xin Ya knew that Zhao Wuji's first soul skill would definitely block her sword energy hurricane. but she didn't plan to succeed with just one move at the beginning. The reason why she used this second soul skill was only to save Zhu Zhuqing from the predicament and let her get rid of the control of the enhanced gravity. Zhao Wuji smiled and said, "Excellent girl, although your soul skill saved your companions, have you ever thought about yourself?" That he asked Xin Ya, but looked at her with admiration. This little girl is not bad. She saved her companions first at the critical moment. Not only is she talented, but her character is also good. She is really a good seedling. Flanders made it this time. Hearing Zhao Wuji's words, Xin Ya didn't say anything. She knew that teacher Zhao's aqua body had the ability to rebound attacks, but the reason why she was not worried about being rebounded was because she had the Killing God domain. Within the Killing God domain, any attack will be weakened, so the attack rebounded by the aqua body will be weakened immediately when entering the Killing God domain, and will not pose any threat to Xin Ya at all, although Zhao Wuji knew that she had a domain. He didn't know what domain it was, let alone what the ability of this domain was. After all, the domain of the God of Killing can only be known by those who have been to the City of Slaughter and passed the Hell Road. At this time, Zhao Wuji had just finished speaking, and he saw the attack rebounding back to Xin Ya. Just when he thought that the little girl would not admit defeat this time, he saw that the attack had weakened. Xin Ya used her sword energy and easily blocked the rebounded attack. How is this possible? Zhao Wuji was surprised to see that the rebounded attack was easily blocked by the little girl. At this time, Xin Ya saw that the incense stick stuck in the ground had burned halfway. She immediately looked at Zhu Zhuqing behind Zhao Wuji, and the two exchanged glances again, and Zhu Zhuqing understood. Xin Ya quickly raised the magic sword, third soul skill, sword shadow like a shuttle. At the same time, Zhu Zhuqing stretched out the sharp cat claws on her fingers again, second soul skill, Netherworld 100 Claws. The two used their soul skills again, one in front and one behind, and attacked Zhao Wuji at the same time. Looking at the two girls attacking him, Zhao Wuji roared, fifth soul skill, gravity compression. In an instant, Xin Ya and Zhu Zhuqing both felt a huge pressure coming from all directions. Xin Ya had the Killing God domain, which weakened the pressure pressing on her by 10%, although her sword shadow was only half exerted and could no longer charge forward, the pressure she endured was not that great. But Zhu Zhuqing was miserable. Her body, which was originally charging forward, was directly pressed down to the ground, and she was sweating coldly. Xin Ya opened her eyes slightly and looked at Zhu Zhuqing lying on the ground in discomfort. Suddenly, a familiar feeling flashed through her mind. Hint, the host automatically comprehended the Killing Assault skill because of the understanding of the killing mystery of the Killing God domain. Hint, the understanding is against the sky. Congratulations to the host for raising the soul power level by 1 level. The current soul power level is level 43, and 30 points are awarded at the same time, for a total of 64 points. Hearing the voice of the system in her mind, Xin Ya's mouth curled up slightly. At this time, several people around saw a layer of faint white light emerging from the little girl. The white light did not radiate outward, but was contained around her body. The gravity squeeze that was previously applied to Xin Ya was now cut in half by the white light surrounding her body, and then separated from her body, and could no longer have any effect on her. After Xin Ya completely got rid of the pressure brought by the gravity squeeze, she seized the opportunity to use the third soul skill, Sword Shadow Shuttle again. The long sword in her hand suddenly turned into a huge sword shadow, and the little girl stood on the sword shadow and instantly shuttled towards Zhao Wuji to attack. Zhao Wuji did not expect that after the sudden appearance of white light on Xin Ya's body, she actually got rid of his gravity squeeze control. Looking at the huge sword shadow rushing towards him, Zhao Wuji suddenly roared to the sky, "Great! It can actually force out my martial soul true body, it's really formidable. Haha. Seventh soul skill, martial soul true body, powerful Vajra bear." As soon as he finished speaking, the 7 soul rings on his body shone. Under the effect of his spirit body, Zhao Wuji's body suddenly rose to 3 meters, and his muscles swelled in an exaggerated form. He turned into a real giant bear. The giant bear smashed the ground with both palms, and with a roar, it collided with Xin Ya's huge sword shadow. At this time, the eyes of several people around were all staring. A soul lord can force out the spirit body of a soul saint. This little girl is too powerful. Dai Mubai reacted, and he quickly came to Zhu Zhuqing and took her away from the attack range. Oscar was also brave at the same time, and rushed to Ning Rongrong like a hero to save the beauty. He took her away from the range of the soul power impact of Zhao Wuji's spirit body. With a bang, the giant bear and the huge sword shadow collided, and the power of the two attacks was offset. Zhao Wuji's spirit body disappeared and returned to its original appearance, and Xin Ya's huge sword shadow also disappeared. She fell to the ground, covering her chest with her hands, and secretly activated her healing light to repair her internal injuries. At this time, Dai Mubai saw that the incense stick stuck in the ground had burned out. He immediately said, "Teacher Zhao, the incense has burned out." Zhao Wuji coughed and smiled reluctantly. Although Zhu Zhuqing and Ning Rongrong are beyond the range of the open space, Xin Ya is still within the range. So, congratulations to the three of you, you have passed the 4th level assessment. Zhu Zhuqing pushed Dai Mubai away from him and turned his face away, not accepting his favor at all. Dai Mubai was very helpless. Ning Rongrong on the other side looked at Oscar, who rushed to save her. Her cheeks were slightly red. "Thank you." Oscar smiled stupidly. "You're welcome." Xin Ya looked at the two couples with completely different styles, with an expression on her face as if they were watching a show. Zhao Wuji shouted to Oscar, "Xiao Ao, get some of your recovery sausages and give them to the 3 little girls, especially Xin Ya. Give me one too." "Okay." Oscar immediately responded happily, unexpectedly, except for Zhao Wuji. The other 3 little girls were not willing to eat his big sausage. Xin Ya refused to eat because her internal injuries had been gradually repaired by the healing light. Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing were nakedly disgusted. However, the 2 of them were only slightly shocked by the power of the attack just now, and were not injured, so they would just practice adjusting their breath later. Zhao Wuji said, "Oscar, take the 3 little girls to the girls' dormitory to rest first. The enrollment will be held tomorrow." After finishing speaking, he turned around and said to Dai Mubai, "There are still 2 applicants who have not passed the 4th level test assessment. Xiao Bai, you come and test them. I will supervise the test next to you." "Yes, Teacher Zhao." Dai Mubai and Oscar both responded at the same time. Later, Dai Mubai tested against Tang San and Xiao Wu respectively. Oscar took Xin Ya, Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing to check into the girls' dormitory. Since no girls had been admitted before, the girls' dormitory was just big enough to allocate 1 room to each student. In the dormitory room, after Xin Ya took out the daily necessities in the system space and placed them, she smelled her own scent. "I sweated a little from the battle just now. And now my body is sticky and very uncomfortable." She picked up her pajamas, turned and walked into the shower room. 20 minutes later, after a comfortable bath, Xin Ya wiped her long, straight black hair and walked out of the shower room. Just when she stepped out of the shower room, she saw someone lying on her bed. Guangling leaned on the head of the bed, put her hands on the back of her head, and looked at the little girl who had just come out of the shower with a casual look. Chapter 76. If an apology is useful, why do we need the police? You are listening at novelfull.audio. When Xin Ya saw Guangling lying on her bed, she was stunned. How did he find this place? The little girl really didn't expect Guangling to find this place. Shrek's place is so remote, he can actually find it. Suddenly, Xin Ya realized, could it be that he was the one who had been staring at her in Soto City from the time she left the South Gate? Now that I think about it, it must be the case. Who else could it be besides this Tsundra? Guangling looked at her stunned look and knew that she must be doubtful that she could find this place. He smiled and said to her, "I know that the other side of the river used to be the province of Fasno, and I also know that with your character, you will definitely not wrong yourself. Besides, you made money by selling that soul bone, and you are with the wealthy Miss Ning, so the food and accommodation must be the best. I went to the best hotel in Fasno City to inquire, and then I went to the horse shop and found out that you had come to Soto City. I saw you at the South City Gate. I was afraid that you would run away again, so I had to follow you all the way here." Every time Guangling said a word, he looked at her intently. After saying that, he got up from the bed and walked towards Xin Ya. Just when he was about to approach, the magic sword suddenly appeared in the little girl's hand. She quickly took a few steps back, raised her divine sword towards Guangling, and said angrily, "Don't come over." Guangling lowered his eyes, raised his eyebrows and glanced at the sword pointed at him, and said softly, "Girls should be gentler and stop taking out swords at every turn. Be good, put down the sword first and let's have a chat, okay?" As soon as he finished speaking, he took a few steps forward, trying to snatch the sword away from her when she wasn't prepared. Xin Ya noticed his intention. She quickly took a few steps back and warned, "Don't come over. If you come over again, we won't have to talk." Her words made Guangling stop instantly. As long as this little thing was willing to talk to him, the little girl was so angry that she didn't want to talk to him, but now that she was in the room, she couldn't run away, so she had no choice but to talk. Guangling complied with her wishes and said, "Okay, I won't go over, so let's have a chat." Xin Ya raised her chin towards the chair on the dressing table. "If you want to talk, you can sit there." He nodded, turned around and walked to the chair next to the dressing table to sit down. Xin Ya did not put away the long sword. She walked to the other side of the bed and sat down, placing the sword across the bed. "What do you want to talk about? Tell me." Guangling looked at the distance between her and him, which was separated by a bed, and raised his eyebrows. "Do we have to chat at such a distance?" "I just want to keep this distance so that you don't bully me again." The little girl raised her chin and snorted, "Either we don't want to talk and you get lost, or we just talk from such a distance. It's your choice." Guangling looked at her humming little face, smiled, and compromised, "Okay, you have the final say on how cute you are. But it's good to chat like this, distance brings beauty. We haven't seen each other for 2 months, and our Xiaoya has become a lot prettier." Xin Ya looked at him with a blush on her cheeks, but said angrily, It's useless to put honey on your mouth. I'm not a big bear, and I don't like honey." The little girl complained in her heart, "If you can't bully her, just use words to tease her. This man is so hateful." Guangling looked at her nervous and flushed little face and couldn't help laughing. After that, he looked at the surrounding environment and asked, "Why are you here? If you want to study in the academy, I can let you enter Wuhandian Academy, where the conditions are good in all aspects. And with me here, you don't need to take any tests at all to go to Wuhandian Academy, and all the resources can be given to you. It's much better than this Shrek." The little girl looked at him with wet eyes and said aggrievedly, "Going to Wuhandian Academy is under your nose every day, and I will continue to give you the opportunity to find someone to stare at me, right? I don't want it." Guangling looked at her aggrieved look and said immediately, "I know it was wrong of me to let the maid look at you before. I promise I won't do it again in the future. I apologize now, can you forgive me?" "Cannot." Xin Ya said subconsciously, "If an apology is useful, why do we need the police?" Guangling frowned, "Why is it this policeman again?" He remembered that when he was on Hell Road, this little guy had said something about the Pacific Police, and now he was talking about the police. What the hell is this policeman? Moreover, this policeman has to worry about others apologizing. Isn't he too busy? Seeing that she refused to forgive herself, Guangling had no time to care about the policeman. He asked anxiously, "Then what do you have to do to forgive me?" "As long as you say it, I will do it." Xin Ya lowered her head, picking at the kitten pattern embroidered on the bed sheet with one small hand, and said in a soft voice, "I don't know, I didn't expect it now, but I just don't want to forgive you." Guangling coaxed, "Then I'm sitting here now, and you come and beat me. I promise not to fight back and let you beat me until you are satisfied. Is that okay?" Xin Ya turned away, "My hand hurts, I don't want to hit it." Guangling coaxed again, "Then I'll let you bite. You can bite anywhere. I promise not to make any sound, okay?" Xin Ya turned her little face to the other side again, "My tooth hurts, I don't want to bite it." Guangling couldn't laugh or cry for a moment. Why is this little thing so cute? At this time, Xin Ya remembered her contract of betrayal. She raised her head, stretched out her little hand and said, "Qianjun should have helped me pay back the gold soul coin. Now I don't owe you any money. Give me back the deed of betrayal." Guangling took out the indenture she wrote at that time from the storage soul guide and said, "I didn't take the gold soul coins that Qianjun helped you pay back. Now that you have money, you can pay it back yourself. The indenture is here. Bring the gold soul coins over and I'll give it to you right away. Xin Ya bit her lower lip and looked at the man opposite. The little girl felt that he was trying to trick her again. After thinking for a while, she climbed onto the bed and slowly moved to the edge of the bed near Guangling. Then she took out a gold soul coin from the system space. Didn't you say you wanted me to forgive you just now? Now we hand over the money and the indenture, but you are not allowed to bully me, let alone lie to me again, and I will forgive you. Guangling nodded, okay. Xin Ya looked at his bright ice-blue eyes. He agreed too quickly, which made her a little unconvinced. However, she really wanted to get her indenture back. After hesitating for a while, she decided to trust him once. She moved a little closer to the edge of the bed, stretched out her little hand, opened her palm, and inside was the gold soul coin that she wanted to return to Guangling. Guangling looked at her and smiled, and put the indenture in his hand into her palm. Just as his hand was placed on it, the man suddenly grabbed her little hand and pulled her hard. He quickly stood up and picked her up. Guangling sat on the bed and took the little girl to his thigh. One big hand tightly clasped her waist, and the other hand restrained her legs that wanted to run. Xin Ya pushed him with her struggling hands and said angrily, "You annoying guy, you lied to me again. I will never forgive you again." Chapter 77. This little thing is so hard to appease. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Guangling hugged her and said softly, "I didn't lie to you. I really returned the contract to you." As he said that, he stuffed the contract into her hand, but he didn't want the gold soul coin. He looked at her and asked, "I just want to hold you and talk for a while, okay?" Xin Ya looked at the contract in her hand and stopped struggling for the time being, but raised her head and glared at him angrily. Guangling smiled and stretched out his hand to pinch her puffed-up little cheeks. The little girl slapped his big hand away angrily. Guangling didn't continue to pinch, but looked at her and said, "Don't run away again. I promise not to catch you back. Since you want to stay here to play, then stay. I will come to see you every once in a while in the future, okay?" He thought, let's just go along with her wishes now, lest she runs away again, and I have to chase her to the ends of the earth. The little girl snorted and didn't speak. Guangling continued, "Also, if you get another soul bone, don't sell it. After all, soul bones are quite rare, so it's better to keep them for yourself. If you don't have money to spend, tell me and I'll give it to you. I promise I'll really give it to you. I'm not borrowing it, and I'm not asking you to write an IOU or sell your body. I'll give it to you without you having to pay anything back." He emphasized that he really gave it to her, so that she wouldn't believe it, and he also expressed his sincerity in wanting her to forgive him. Xin Ya snorted, "Even if you really give it to me, I don't want it. I won't take your soul coins before I forgive you." Guangling held her hand tightly and coaxed, "Then I beg you to take it, okay?" "No." Xin Ya turned her face away in anger. The little girl's deliberately stubborn expression made Guangling laugh. Xin Ya looked at him sideways and smiled, and suddenly she remembered that Qian Jun and Ning Rongrong had told her that Guangling actually liked her, so he did that. She looked at the way he was holding her now, which was a bit too intimate. The little girl thought, could it be, he really likes me? This arrogant Douluo who is always arrogant, bad-tempered, and disdainful of low-level soul masters, would like me? Xin Ya didn't believe it. Just as she was thinking about it, Guangling said, "By the way, there is a girl with scorpion braids with you today, it's a bit special." Xin Ya knew he was talking about Xiao Wu. "You want to say that she is a soul beast incarnation, right? You know." Guangling was slightly surprised, then he thought about it. All kinds of strange things have happened to this little thing, so it seems reasonable to know that the girl is a soul beast incarnation. Xin Ya asked, "Since you can see today that she is a 100,000-year soul beast, why don't you catch it?" Guangling said, "The soul beast can't run away, but you can run. If you are alarmed by catching the soul beast, where can I find you if you run away?" Xin Ya snorted again and ignored him. Guangling said, "Keep the soul beast first. Since it has also entered this academy, you should keep an eye on it. When you need a 100,000-year soul ring, I will catch it and make it for you, okay?" The little girl snorted, "I can catch it myself, so you don't have to worry about it." Guangling looked at her angry look and smiled helplessly. During this period of time, think about what you want me to do in order to forgive you. Tell me when I come next time, and I will definitely do it, okay? The little girl murmured in a low voice, I will never forgive you no matter what you do. Hearing her whisper, Guangling sighed in his heart. This little thing is so hard to coax. He stood up and put her down, put his big hand on her head, and rubbed her little head. I'm leaving, take care of yourself and eat well. When he turned around and was about to leave, Xin Ya suddenly called out, wait a minute. She walked in front of him, looking like she wanted to say something but stopped. You, are you? Guangling looked at her in confusion. After thinking about it, Xin Ya still felt that he couldn't possibly like her. That arrogant guy just thought she was fun, and he might be possessive and just treat her as his property. The little girl shook her head to make herself sober, then raised her head and said, it's okay, you can go. Really okay? Guangling promised, you can tell me anything, I will definitely do it. Xin Ya regained her angry look, stretched out her hand and pushed him while saying, I won't look for you even if I have something to do. Guangling grabbed her little hand, held it in his hand, and said a little displeasedly, if you don't look for me, who will you look for? I'll look for Qianjun and Jiangma, but not you. The little girl pulled back her hand and deliberately angered him, it's okay to hear Qianjun, but there's also Jiangma. Guangling's tone suddenly became unhappy, Jiangma doesn't know you. Then I'll go in front of him and let him know me. Xin Ya pushed him towards the windowsill while retorting, originally, she wanted to push Guangling towards the door, but think about it, if she lets him go out from the door, what if other people see a man leaving her room, then she won't be able to explain it clearly. So let him climb through the window. Guangling wanted to say something, but found that he had been pushed to the window. Why should I climb through the window? Xin Ya glanced at him, you climbed through the window when you came, why are you pretending to be a gentleman when you leave? Get out now, I don't want to talk to you. And don't come next time, I don't want to see you. Guangling saw her angry look, so he had no choice but to climb out the window and leave. After Guangling left, Xin Ya lay on the bed, staring at the ceiling in a daze. She picked up the indenture, opened it, and looked at it. She found that there were a few more small words under her name on the indenture. My only favorite little maid. It was obvious that these words were written by Guangling. She was stunned for a moment. What did he mean by this? The little girl's originally connected thoughts were now completely disrupted. Ah! Xin Ya screamed, you dead tsundere, so annoying. At this time, it was dark outside. But she didn't want to eat at all. No, go to sleep. After saying that, Xin Ya pulled the quilt to cover herself, intending to sleep all day and night. At night, Flanders came back from his own shop in Soto City. As soon as he walked into the wooden house of the dean's office, Zhao Wuji came. Zhao Wuji told Flanders in detail about the 5 students he had recruited today and their battle tests and assessments. He especially talked about the little girl Xin Ya. After listening to her, Flanders was shocked and excited. Level 42. 3 10,000-year spirit rings. Such a genius actually came to our academy, it's really a treasure. Zhao Wuji also said excitedly, yes, and there is also the little girl Ning Rongrong from the 7 Treasures Glazed Tower. Flanders smiled and said, I received a letter from Sect Master Ning today. He hopes that we can teach his daughter well. Zhao Wuji smiled and said, that's absolutely no problem. Flanders reached out and lifted his glasses that had slipped off. Xin Ya was also mentioned in Sect Master Ning's letter. It seems that this little girl is also trained by their 7 Treasures Glazed sect. Zhao Wuji remembered that Xin Ya's martial soul was a long sword. He was slightly surprised and said, could it be that Xin Ya is the disciple of Chen Xin, the peak Douluo of level 96? Just as he finished speaking, the wooden door of the office suddenly opened from the outside. A man with a height of 1.9 meters and covered in a black cloak appeared at the door. The man said in an unhappy tone, my Xiaoya has nothing to do with the 7 Treasures Glazed sect, and it is even more impossible that she is the disciple of Chen Xin. Have a happy weekend, babies. Chapter 78. The girl's family is here to protect her child. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After Guangling climbed out of the window of Xin Ya's room, she did not leave Shrek Academy immediately, since she wants to stay here to play. He plans to talk to the dean here so that someone can take care of his little thing. Guangling knew that Shrek's dean was Flanders, however, he did not intend to reveal his identity as an elder in the Wuhuan temple. Although Flanders might not recognize him, his silver hair was so iconic. So Guangling took a black cloak from the storage soul guide and put it on to cover her appearance. At this time, he happened to arrive at the door of the wooden house of Flanders' office, and heard the conversation between Flanders and Zhao Wuji. His little thing has nothing to do with the Qibao glazed sect. What's more, there are so many powerful Douluo warriors in their Wuhuan hall. Do you think this kid needs to become a sword Douluo as his master? What a joke. Guangling felt unhappy and pushed open the wooden door of the office. In the cabin, Flanders and Zhao Wuji stood up quickly after seeing the person coming. Zhao Wuji shouted coldly, "Who are you?" As soon as he finished speaking, he suddenly felt a strong suppression of soul power coming towards him with biting ice. Plop, Zhao Wuji's legs suddenly knelt down on the wooden floor. Cold sweat broke out all over his body, and his whole body was shivering from the biting cold. If it weren't for the thick skin and thick flesh of his martial spirit, the Vajra bear, and its high defense power, he would have been unable to bear the suppression of this kind of soul power and would have fainted. Flanders on the side saw Zhao Wuji's appearance and knew that the person coming must be a Douluo-level powerhouse. He immediately took a few steps around the desk and asked respectfully, "Who is your excellency?" Guangling slowly walked into the wooden house, and at the same time 9 soul rings rose from beneath her feet. Looking at the 9 rings, Flanders and Zhao Wuji opened their eyes wide. He is indeed a Douluo-level expert. At this time, Guangling walked into the room. "You don't need to know who I am." "Yes, yes." Flanders responded flatteringly. Guangling walked over to Zhao Wuji, who was kneeling on the ground and suffering. He sat down and looked at Zhao Wuji, but he didn't seem to intend to release the suppression of his soul power. Flanders on the side did not dare to say anything. Zhao Wuji looked at his big owl brother with sad eyes, begging Flanders to put in a good word for him so that this powerful Douluo man could relieve his oppression. Flanders' eyes were helpless. It wasn't that he didn't want to help, but that he couldn't beat this Douluo-level powerhouse. He thought, "Brother King Kong Bear, you have strong defense, so you can bear it." Flanders did not look at Zhao Wuji again. He smiled and asked the Douluo strongman, "Excuse me, what are you doing here?" Guangling took out a stored value card from the storage soul guide and said, "Here are 10,000 gold soul coins, which is the cost of food and accommodation for my Xin Ya to stay with you for a year. It should be more than enough." After saying this, he handed the stored value card to Flanders, 10,000 gold soul coins. Flanders' eyes suddenly brightened, and his money-grubbing nature was immediately revealed on his face. He took the stored value card with a smile on his face. Guangling continued, "I don't care what the food and accommodation conditions of other students are like, but my Xiaoya's must not be bad. Her room is too shabby. I hope the dean can find someone to repair it." Yes, I will find someone to repair it tomorrow." Flanders rolled his eyes, remembering that Ning Fengji's letter clearly showed great care for the little girl Xin Ya, but the Douluo expert who came now said that Xin Ya had nothing to do with the Qibao glazed sect. And who is this Douluo strongman? Listening to his words, it seems that he has a very close relationship with Xin Ya. Flanders asked cautiously, "Sir, may I ask what your relationship is with Xin Ya?" Guangling thought for a while and said, "I am her father, the sponsor." "Ah." Flanders looked confused. "Who is the sponsor's father?" Guangling did not explain, but continued, "In the future, please send me a letter from the dean every month to inform me of Xin Ya's situation here." Flanders asked in confusion, "Excuse me, sir, where should I send this letter?" Guangling said, "Send it to a hotel called Huangqing in Tiando City and give it to the hotel owner." Flanders was confused for a moment, then nodded immediately, "Okay, sir, I will do it, and I will take good care of Xin Ya for you, please don't worry." Guangling nodded with satisfaction. Then, he looked at Zhao Wuji, who was still kneeling under the pressure, and warned in a displeased tone, "Zhao Wuji, I am stingy, defensive, and vindictive. Fortunately, my Xiaoya was not injured in the test this time. I will let you go. If it happens again, I will cut off your bare paws and make wine. Do you understand me?" After finishing his words, Guangling looked at Zhao Wuji with sharp eyes, and at the same time, he once again increased the suppression of ice attribute soul power. Zhao Wuji originally just knelt down on his knees, but after the pressure increased, he couldn't hold on anymore and threw his hands on the wooden floor, and he saw that his hands were slowly starting to freeze. Zhao Wuji responded with a trembling voice, "Listen. I heard you clearly, please, spare your life." He felt that his hands were starting to go numb from the cold. Guangling smiled coldly, stood up, and left the cabin in a flash. After the strong Douluo left, the ice suppression on Zhao Wuji's body slowly disappeared. He stood up slowly and looked at his bare paws, which were numb and red from the cold. He immediately looked at Flanders with a resentful look. "Flanders, you are too disloyal. You watched me being suppressed and tortured, and you didn't help me." Flanders pushed his glasses on his face and said unhappily, "How can I help? That person is a Douluo-level strongman. You can't stand it even if your defense is stronger than mine. If I help you, wouldn't it be even worse? What's more, you deserve it today. Why did you want to fight with Xin Ya in the afternoon? Now the girl's family is here to protect her. It's fine if I just suppress you. If I beat you up, you will be even worse." Zhao Wuji, he said anxiously, "Xin Ya's soul power level is higher than Xiao Bai's. Xiao Bai is not qualified to test her at all. Then I have to do it." Flanders kicked his bare leg and scolded, "Are you stupid? A genius like Xin Ya can be exempted from the 4th level directly. Why are you still testing her?" Zhao Wuji only reacted at this time, "Yes, why didn't I think of it at that time?" Flanders rolled his eyes and said speechlessly, "You bear, don't just increase strength and defense, can you add more intelligence to your brain?" Zhao Wuji was scolded by his boss for being brainless, and he looked at Flanders with resentment. Flanders looked at the door, and he suddenly felt that Xin Ya was a little mysterious. Ning Fengji took good care of her, and now there is such a mysterious Douluo strongman to protect her everywhere. Who is this little girl Xin Ya? Zhao Wuji looked at his bare paw, which was still red from the cold, and asked Flanders, "Boss, who did you say that mysterious Douluo was?" Flanders said lightly, "There are only a handful of titled Douluos on the continent, and most of them are in the spirit hall." Zhao Wuji was surprised and said, "You mean, the one just now was from the spirit hall?" Flanders nodded, "It's very likely." Zhao Wuji frowned and said, "If that person is from the spirit hall, he defends Xin Ya so much, could it be that Xin Ya is also?" Flanders interrupted him and waved his hand and said, "No, if she is from the spirit hall, Ning Fengji would not have taken good care of her in the letter. I guess that Douluo is just unilaterally familiar with Xin Ya." After speaking, he patted Zhao Wuji's broad bare back. "Okay, you used the spirit real body today, and you were suppressed like that just now. Go back and rest early, I will take care of those little guys tomorrow." Zhao Wuji nodded, turned around and left the wooden house. "Wow, I cut my finger while cutting vegetables yesterday. A large layer of skin was broken and a lot of blood flowed. It hurt so much. Fortunately, I wrote a few chapters a few days ago, otherwise I wouldn't be able to update it for you today. Wow, babies, hug me. Thank you for the babies who vote for me every day, thank you for the babies who reward me, also, thank you for the babies who have no votes or rewards, but are silently following the book. Thank you very much for your support." Chapter 79. Does the Dean want to be treated specially? You are listening at novelfull.audio. After leaving the wooden house in Flanders' office, Guangling originally planned to return to Wuhuan City. However, he couldn't help wanting to see Xin Ya again, so he climbed into the little girl's room again, but saw that she was already asleep. It was better for Guangling to fall asleep, lest she get angry and drive him away, and he couldn't even take a good look at her. The man sat down in front of the dressing table and looked at the little girl sleeping on the bed. This little thing is very restless when sleeping. She likes to clamp the pillow, likes to kick the quilt, and occasionally talks in her sleep, mainly scolding him in her sleep. Guangling laughed beside him. He reached out and pinched her cheek. "Little thing, how long are you going to be angry? Forget about being angry, you've already punished me and you still don't want to be angry. You're really hard to coax, do you know?" Guangling talked to himself while pinching the little girl's face and became addicted to it. After watching her for an hour, he stood up and reluctantly left Xin Ya's room, left Shrek Academy from the mountain above the wooden house, and rode his horse towards Wuhuan City. The next day, Xin Ya woke up early in the morning. She went to bed without dinner after dark last night, thinking that she would wake up hungry in the middle of the night, but she didn't. She guessed that she was really tired, so she slept until dawn, but last night, when she was half asleep, she felt a gaze looking at her. The little girl didn't know whether it was in reality or in a dream, and that gaze was actually Guangling. She also felt that he kept pinching her face, but didn't he leave? I guess I really dreamed. Xin Ya sat up, shook her little head, and stopped thinking about the dream about Guangling last night. After washing up, she did yoga for an hour as usual. As soon as she finished, Ning Rongrong came to knock on her door. Xiaoya, are you awake? Yes, wait a minute. Xin Ya got up from the ground, put the yoga mat into the system space, and turned to walk towards the door. The door opened. Morning, Xiaoya, let's go have breakfast together. Miss Ning had just finished speaking when she saw Xin Ya in tight yoga clothes with a good figure in front of her. She grabbed Xin Ya's hands and turned around. Xiaoya, what kind of clothes are you wearing? They are too revealing, but they look good. Xin Ya smiled and said, this is called yoga clothes, which are specially worn for practicing yoga. Yoga? What is that? Miss Ning said she had never heard of this word. After thinking for a while, Xin Ya explained, yoga is a method of cultivating the body and mind. Oh, I see, it's almost the same as cultivating soul power. After saying that, Ning Rongrong looked at Xin Ya's clothes again, stretched out her hand and pushed her to the room, saying, hurry up and change this dress, you can't wear this dress outside. Xin Ya was at a loss. Why? As a modern person from the Blue Water Star in her previous life, she never thought there was anything wrong with this tight yoga suit, but, in the eyes of Miss Ning, this dress is too tight and revealing. If Xiaoya wears this out, Dai Mubai and Oscar will probably have a nosebleed. As for the guy called Tang San, she doesn't know. Ning Rongrong thinks that Tang San is quite quiet and introverted, so she doesn't know what kind of person he is. When she heard Xin Ya ask why, she laughed and said, your clothes are so tight and have little material. If you wear it out like this, don't make Dai Mubai and Oscar excited. Excited? Xin Ya responded and said, wait for me, I'll change my clothes. After saying that, she turned around and went to the closet to get clothes and went into the bathroom to change. 10 minutes later, Xin Ya changed her clothes and left the room with Ning Rongrong and walked towards the cafeteria. In the cafeteria, there was a teacher wearing a chef's hat, making breakfast. Tang San, Xiao Wu, Dai Mubai and Zhu Zhuqing sat in a row at the dining table, eating breakfast, but Oscar was not seen. When Xin Ya and Ning Rongrong walked in, they happened to see Dai Mubai being attentive to Zhu Zhuqing, but the cold girl didn't appreciate his kindness, and looked like she didn't want to pay attention to him at all. Xin Ya and Ning Rongrong smiled and looked at each other. Morning, Zhuqing. Xin Ya walked to the other side of Zhu Zhuqing and sat down. Ning Rongrong also sat down. Zhu Zhuqing looked at the two and replied calmly, good morning. Ning Rongrong asked Dai Mubai, Boss Dai, where is Oscar? That she had dinner with them last night, so she followed everyone and called Dai Mubai Boss Dai. Dai Mubai said, that guy can't get up early. He will come over when we are halfway through eating. Ning Rongrong said, oh. At this time, the teacher who was making breakfast turned around and looked up and saw Xin Ya. His eyes lit up, and he immediately picked up a separate and particularly rich breakfast and put it in front of Xin Ya. Xin girl, this breakfast is yours. The other 5 people looked at the breakfast in front of Xin Ya in unison. Xiao Wu was the first to ask with dissatisfaction, Teacher Xiao, why is her breakfast so rich and ours is so simple? Is it special? Tang San also had displeasure in his eyes, but he didn't say anything. He just looked at the teacher Xiao Xin and waited for his answer. Xin Ya looked down at the sumptuous breakfast in front of her, and then at the breakfasts of the other 5 people. She also asked in confusion, Teacher Xiao, what's going on? Teacher Xiao said, you have to ask the dean about this. The dean told me, and I don't know much about it. Xiao Xin is the food department Wuhuan Tongo, who is responsible for the food work in the canteen. Li Yusong, who enrolled students at the college gate yesterday, is responsible for the college's financial management. There is another person named Lu Chibing Kuohungsing Luoki, who is responsible for the logistics work of the academy. Shrek Academy has few teachers, so in addition to teaching and educating people, each teacher is also responsible for other tasks. When Xin Ya heard teacher Xiao Xin say that this was arranged by the dean, she frowned and asked, "Where is the dean's office? I'll go find him and ask about the situation." Dai Mubai said, "The dean's office is behind our boys' dormitory, in the larger wooden room at the end." Xin Ya nodded, picked up a glass of milk, drank it, and then said to the others, "You can share my breakfast." After saying this, she grabbed a bun, got up and left the canteen. The other 5 people looked at her and felt a little strange. Xiao Wu said bluntly, "Dean, it's not just because her soul power level is higher than ours and her talent is good, she should be specialized in this way." Ning Rongrong glanced at her and said bluntly, "Even if it's specialization, it's because we, Xiaoya, are capable. If you're not convinced, show me what you're capable of." "You." Just as Xiao Wu was about to start a fight, Tang San held him back and shook his head at her. Ning Rongrong snorted. Then, she sat down in Xin Ya's seat and pushed the sumptuous breakfast in front of Zhu Zhuqing. "Zhuqing, let's eat together." Zhu Zhuqing nodded politely. After she cooperated with Xin Ya and Ning Rongrong yesterday, she already regarded the two as friends. Especially Xin Ya's protection during the battle made the cold girl feel that this cute little girl was a partner worthy of being entrusted with her back. Other side, Xin Ya came to the dean's office. She knocked on the door and said, "Dean, are you there?" "I am Xin Ya." After waiting for a while, a voice came from inside, "Come in." She opened the door and walked in. Flanders looked up and saw that the person who came in was actually the young girl who had entered his shop in Soto City a few days ago and generously paid 1,000 gold soul coins to buy his piece of crystal. His eyes suddenly lit up and he smiled. "So it's you. I didn't expect you to be the monster little genius we recruited this year." Chapter 80 Your Financial Sponsor. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hearing Flanders say that he was a monster genius, Xin Ya waved her hands and said, "Dean, please don't flatter me." Flanders smiled and said, "How can I flatter you? He is already level 42 at the age of 12. If he is not a monster genius, then what is he?" Xin Ya coughed and corrected, "Now I am level 43. I got another level when I was tested against teacher Zhao yesterday." "What?" Flanders opened his eyes wide, and then immediately laughed. "This kind of talent is simply the best among monsters. By the way, are you satisfied with today's breakfast? In the future, you can tell Mr. Xiao Xin, who is in charge of the cafeteria, what you want to eat for 3 meals a day, and let him give it to you specially." Xin Ya said, "Speaking of breakfast, I came to you specifically for this breakfast." Flanders was stunned for a moment. "Is the breakfast not to your taste?" Xin Ya shook her head and said, "That's not the question. I want to ask why you cook for me separately. Are you giving me special treatment?" "So that's what you are asking." Flanders breathed a sigh of relief. He was still worried that the dishes cooked by Xiao Xin were not to the taste of this little ancestor. He was still thinking that if it didn't suit his taste, he would have to hire a chef to cook it. After all, they couldn't afford to offend that Douluo master. Xin Ya looked at Flanders in confusion, waiting for his explanation. Flanders slowly spoke and told the little girl what happened last night. After listening, Xin Ya knew that the man in the black cloak was Guang Ling, and there would be no one else except him. "He told you who I am?" "The sponsor." Flanders said blankly. Xin Ya's mouth twitched, and she complained in her heart, "Is this man shameless?" Flanders asked curiously, "Xin Yatu, what does the term gold master mean?" The little girl did not explain to him, but asked, "Dean, can you return the 10,000 gold soul coins to him? I'll give you another one." Flanders refused without hesitation. "No, what if I return it to him and you don't give it to me, then I'll lose money. If you don't want to owe him, just pay him back yourself. Anyway, there's no reason to take the money out of my pocket." Xin Ya was speechless. This Flanders was really obsessed with money. He was indeed a greedy and stingy person. The reason why she wanted Flanders to return the money to Guangling was that she didn't want to pay it back herself, because once she paid it back herself, it would be equivalent to owing him money. She just paid back that 1 gold soul coin, and now she owed him another 10,000 gold soul coins. When will she be able to settle the account with him? Seeing her depressed look, Flanders said, Xin Ya, you can't pay back the 10,000 gold soul coins, right? You were very generous last time in Soto City, but now you have no money. Xin Ya looked at him, sat on the sofa, and said nothing. Flanders continued, actually, I think you don't have to pay back your sponsor, because I heard that he treated you very well. And from what your sponsor said, he never thought of asking you to pay back the 10,000 gold soul coins. The little girl listened to Flanders saying your sponsor on the left and your sponsor on the right, which made her feel weird. At this time, Flanders said again, and where you live, your sponsor also asked you to live better. So I have asked Mr. Lu Qibin, who is in charge of logistics, to go to the city to find a few decorators to come and repair your room. Xin Ya thought for a while and said, since we have to repair it, let's repair the entire girls' dormitory. This. Flanders was a little reluctant. Xin Ya raised her eyebrows. Why, the dean doesn't want to pay more. There are only 5 rooms in the girls' dormitory, and only 4 people live there. It won't cost much of the 10,000 gold soul coins. And don't forget, there's a young lady from the 7 Treasures Glazed sect living next door to me. The 7 Treasures Glazed sect is a wealthy sect. After the little girl reminded him, Flanders immediately realized it. That's right. He could ask Ning Fengji for some money. Why didn't he think of that? It seems that Ning Rongrong's food needs to be mentioned too. Flanders smiled with bright eyes and said, no problem. All the girls' dormitories will be renovated. I will talk to teacher Lu Qibin later. After saying that, he looked at Xin Ya with a smile. Xin girl, do you have any other requests? Xin Ya thought for a while and said, there is indeed one more thing. I am not very interested in the courses in the academy. I have my own way of practicing. In fact, I might as well tell you that there are 2 reasons why I came here. One is to accompany Rongrong, and the other is that I think Shrek is remote and quiet enough. I just want to eat, drink and have fun as a salted fish. I don't want to study hard or anything like that. So if I have to go to class, then I have to choose to leave and go somewhere else for peace and quiet. Flanders didn't hear about salted fish, but when he heard that Xin Ya was leaving, he immediately became nervous. Because if this little ancestor left, the 10,000 gold soul coins that entered his pocket would have to be spit out, and from what the little girl said, she is usually a lazy person, but her soul power level can still be improved so quickly. You can imagine what a talented girl this is. So whether it's for money or for the future honor of the academy, he must not let this girl leave. Flanders compromised immediately and said, if you don't want to go, don't go. Besides, your situation is quite special. Maybe your own practice method will be better. However, a master will come in a few days. His theory is very famous. Even the Pope of the Spirit Hall recognizes it. So I think you can take his class. What do you think? Xin Ya snorted and said, the master you are talking about is called Yu Shaojiang, right? Flanders nodded. Does Xin know him? I don't know him, but I've heard of him. Xin Ya said lightly, I know his theory is invincible, but it's limited to theory. Besides, I understand all his so-called theories, so why do I need him to teach me? This. Flanders heard Xin Ya's words and felt that she seemed to have some opinions about Yu Shaojiang, but after thinking about it, who made this little girl talented, and her sponsor gave her money. Flanders felt that he could be a little more partial to this kind of little genius. He said, okay, it's up to you. You can take the courses in the academy if you want to in the future. By the way, I plan to take them to the Soto Great Fighting Soul Arena for actual combat training tonight. Do you want to go? Fighting Soul Arena. The little girl thought that she had never been there before. Xin Ya said, then go with you. Anyway, I'm free. I'll just go there for fun. Flanders' mouth twitched. it was the first time he heard that someone went to the fighting soul arena for fun. Suddenly, Flanders' shrewd eyes turned and said, "Xian girl, why don't you stop being a student? Anyway, you don't want to learn." Xin Ya frowned and said, "What do you mean?" Flanders laughed and said, "You have money, and a sponsor is giving you money. Do you want to consider investing in Shrek and become an investor in the academy?" The little girl raised her eyebrows. Did they change from recruiting students to recruiting shareholders? Thank you all for the votes and rewards for giving me a hug yesterday. You are all so kind. I am so touched. Omega. Chapter 81. No matter which dimension the boss is from, he always likes to make promises. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Xin Ya said, "I'm only 12 years old, why should I be a sponsor? And even if I want to be a sponsor, why should I choose Shrek from so many colleges? Age never matters." Flanders said, "Think about it, you are already at level 43 at the age of 12. According to your cultivation speed, you will definitely be a titled Douluo before you are 20. What a monster. How suitable for Shrek. Only Shrek is the most suitable for you to fund. The names of other colleges are not worthy of you. And if you become a funder, you can do whatever you want here. Don't say you won't go to class. Even Mubai and the other little guys, as well as me and Zhao Wuji, the old guys, all have to listen to you. Then you will be the boss of Shrek." After listening to Flanders' words, Xin Ya could only think of 3 words: draw a big pie. Sure enough, no matter what dimension the boss is in, they all like to make people happy. How could Xin Ya, a modern person from Aqua Blue Star who has experienced severe beatings from society, be given PUA by Flanders? The little girl refused decisively. "Dean, you don't have to say anything. I just said that I just want to eat, drink, have fun and be a salted fish. If I become an investor, I will have to take care of all the affairs of the college. I will have to take care of the revenue loss. I will have to take care of the enrollment and education situation. I have to take care of this thing and the West. How can I still be a salted fish when I eat well and drink spicy food?" Flanders didn't expect that a 12-year-old girl would actually understand this, and he felt that he couldn't fool her into paying. Because Shrek Academy is not taken seriously by the Baroque Kingdom, it has been short of funds for a long time. Flanders has always wanted to find a rich partner, and he just felt that Xin Ya was particularly suitable. "I thought she would be easy to fool at her young age, but I didn't expect this little girl to be pretty good." However, Flanders was in no hurry. He felt that as long as Xin Ya stayed here, he could lobby slowly. How could he, a man in his 50s, still not be able to handle a little girl? Flanders smiled and said to Xin Ya, "If you, as the investor, are already responsible for the funds, I must be responsible for the management of the college. How can I ask you to contribute money and efforts? But this matter is not urgent. I am just a suggestion, you can consider it slowly." As soon as he finished speaking, he immediately changed the subject and said, "The accommodation renovation was just settled. But what about 3 meals a day? Like today's breakfast, if you have no objection, I will follow the request of your sponsor father." Xin Ya heard the words "your financial sponsor father" again, and she felt strange again. But she didn't know why. She felt like she didn't resist these words. She obviously hates that arrogant monster and is still angry with him, but she actually doesn't resist this title and relationship in her heart. What a hell. Xin Ya took a deep breath and said as if to escape, "Whatever, it's up to you. Since he gave you the 10,000 gold soul coins, then, just listen to him." After saying this, the little girl turned around and quickly left the dean's office cabin. Flanders looked at Xin Ya who was running away in despair, and wondered what had happened to this little girl. He felt that whenever she mentioned her financial sponsor father, she would look strange. Also, what does financier father mean? Forget it, I can't figure it out anymore. Flanders packed up his things and prepared to go to the operation to meet several new students recruited this year. Other side, Xin Ya returned to the canteen after leaving the wooden house. In the cafeteria, Ning Rongrong, Zhu Zhuqing and Oscar were still there, but Tang San, Xiao Wu and Dai Mubai were all gone. When Ning Rongrong saw Xin Ya coming back, she immediately went over and asked, Xin Ya, what did the dean say? Is he really giving you special treatment? Xin Ya hesitated for a moment. She felt that it didn't matter whether others talked or not, but Ning Rongrong knew her well, so she definitely couldn't hide it from the gossiping Miss Ning. She pulled Ning Rongrong to the corner and whispered, do you still remember the man who chased us when we ran away from the sect last time? Ning Rongrong smiled and said, of course I remember. That man is so handsome, how could he forget? Xin Ya told Miss Ning that Guang Ling went to the dean and gave her 10,000 gold soul coins. After hearing this, Ning Rongrong said excitedly, I didn't expect that this silver-haired handsome guy would chase me here and directly give the dean 10,000 gold soul coins. He is so domineering in chasing after a girl. Xin Ya glanced at her and said angrily, what are you chasing after? He is just possessive and unwilling to give in. Ning Rongrong said speechlessly, who would spend 10,000 gold soul coins because of possessiveness and unwillingness? Are you a fool? He just likes you, okay? Impossible, I don't believe it. Xin Ya firmly denied it. I'm telling you. Before Ning Rongrong finished speaking, she heard a sudden clanging sound coming from outside. Then, Dai Mubai walked in from outside and shouted, assemble, this is the dean's bell to summon us, everyone must assemble on the playground. After hearing Dai Mubai's words, Xin Ya and Ning Rongrong stopped talking. Several people left the cafeteria and walked towards the playground. In the center of the playground, in addition to Tang San and Xiao Wu, there was also a little fat man standing beside Dai Mubai. Ning Rongrong asked Xiang Oscar, who is that little fat guy? Oscar said, before you were recruited, there were 3 students in our academy. Boss Dai and I, and this fat guy. His name is Ma Hongjun, Wuhuan Xiehua Pheasant. Evil Fire Pheasant? Miss Ning said amusedly, are you sure it's not roast chicken? Ha ha. Oscar laughed when he heard Ning Rongrong's words. Xin Ya didn't speak at the side. She already knew who it was as soon as she saw the chubby back, but she doesn't like this wretched fat man very much. When Ma Hongjun heard the conversation between Oscar and Ning Rongrong, he immediately became furious and scolded Oscar, you have a big sausage martial spirit, I am an evil fire phoenix, okay? Dai Mubai, Tang San, and Xiao Wu couldn't help laughing, and even the usually cold Zhu Zhuqin raised the corners of his mouth slightly. Just as Ma Hongjun finished cursing, he glanced accidentally and saw Xin Ya standing aside who didn't laugh out loud like the others. The little girl looked cute, and the way she stood there quietly made Ma Hongjun's little eyes shine instantly. An evil fire came to his head. He immediately walked towards Xin Ya and said as he walked, little sister, you look so cute. My name is Ma Hongjun, what is your name? Brother, I just broke up with my girlfriend. Do you want to be my girlfriend? Brother will love you very much. When Dai Mubai heard Ma Hongjun's words, he thought, not good. He was trying to stop the fat man from walking over, but it was already too late. I saw the little girl who was standing there quietly, but suddenly looked at the fat man with extremely unhappy eyes. Xin Ya quickly raised her little foot and kicked Ma Hongjun in the crotch without him reacting. Ah! A scream echoed through the playground of Shrek Academy, startling Flanders who was walking towards the playground.